let's talk about a beginner set of what you use when you start to build your watch, wine, and whiskey collection. I mean, what are you going to do? How do you take care of your stuff? You know that we had a giveaway recently, and these are the items that we gave away. We gave away a watch case, some Glencairn glasses, also a pipette, a whiskey opening kit as well. And the reason why I gave this as a giveaway was because obviously I love that you guys are part of the community and I want to make sure you guys have some of this stuff. But there's another reason why. It's important for you to start out right. If you're just starting out in the game, or maybe you've been doing it for a while, but you want to kind of step up your game, this is how you do it. So the first thing I'm going to go over is I'm going to go over the case and the reason why I use it. If you're traveling and you have a couple of watches, this is a great way to do it. Everything's padded very well. It's easy to pull it in and out. You can put multiple types of watches in here. And you have at least the space for 2 watches because, I mean, who doesn't travel with at least 2 watches, possibly wearing one of them? But this is the way you do it. You could drop it, you can beat it up pretty well, and it can get in and out of anywhere that you have to, including your checked bags, which I don't recommend. But of course, when you have a bag that you have as a carry-on, it's good to have this side there. You can even carry it in your hand if you wanted to, your vehicle, however you want to do it. But it's easy for you to keep track of this, and you know that your watches are protected. And that's the reason why I recommend something like this when it comes to travel and also taking care of your watches at home. The Glencairn glass. Why do I even have this, and why does it even matter? It's special, as you see. It's got a tight area at the top for your lip and where you drink. That concentrates the scents. It's got this wider bowl at the bottom. Why does it have that wider bowl? And so that it can carry more liquid here, because obviously you don't fill it up all the way. You fill it up to about halfway. And when you do that, filling it up halfway, you're going to have more of the scent that's going to be concentrated at the top. It's going to waft through. And that's why you get a really strong scent on this. So I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to pour some of this Glenfiddich. This is a great vat for it. This is actually 18 year. And, I'm going to pick up the notes easily. As you saw, I did halfway right there. I didn't go any further than that. And when I do that, I can easily pick up the scents. I don't need a search for them. This is just so wide that I'm looking anywhere. And it's not hyper concentrated. It's, it's wide enough for you still to be able to get the scent and their air wafting through. You pick up a bunch of beautiful scents on this. Has got a little bit of spiciness. A little tiny bit of oak. Almost like a winter spice, or also it's very nice. Okay? And so now, what's the next thing that you need in your kit? And honestly, this is all important because this is all about the experience you have for yourself and also for guests. If you're doing this with your friends or your family, or you're just trying to have a good time and you're not really sure how to make it look good, this is a way to make things look good because it makes it all a little bit more expressive and a little bit more, I would say, formal and organized. Okay, so now I got my whiskey. It's a little too strong for somebody, or I want to bloom it a little more. You have this little thing that's called a pipette. This little pipette, which also comes from Glencairn, is a small little hole right here at the top of it, at the base of your hand, and at the bottom of it, it goes to pick up water. So you stick it inside your water glass, you cover over that little hole, and when you do that, it picks up a little tiny bit of water. And now you can just drop a drop at a time, or a couple of drops, up to you. You can grab as much water as little as you want, and then you can smell it bloom. You can smell the different characteristics change. Even the flavor profile changes. A lot happens when you bloom it with water. Now, do you want to use hard water? Do you want to use water that's highly alkaline, anything like that? Of course not. You want it to be as balanced as possible. That really helps you. That's the reason why I use usually like a filtered water or something that's a little bit cleaner. And then even sometimes volcanic water. And I just noticed that it gives a lot better flavor to the whiskey in general. But that's how you bloom it, and that's the reason why you have the pipette. The last thing I wanted to show you is your wine opening kit, or your wine presentation kit. What do you do with this? Multiple things. You're always going to be opening up bottles. Sometimes they're older bottles. There's different ways to do this. There's different apparatus to open it, but this is a very easy one to get a lot of leverage. It has a little grip on the bottom that you can open and close, and it has this mechanism at the top. This mechanism at the top pushes into the bottle. As you can see, the bottle has a neck like this, and this moves up and down on it. That's how you get inside of the cork. It's an easy way to get it in the cork. Once you've got it in there, it forces itself into it. You put a little force on it, and now you can pull it out. And that's an easy way to manage this, is along with that. I mean, there's other ways to do it as well. Once you get good at it, some of the corks are a little bit older, and then when they're older, sometimes they just, are much more difficult to deal with. But in this case, when you have this here, it doesn't usually break the cork. This right here is a cork stopper. After you pull the cork out, and you don't want to put the old cork in, you could put this in the top, and it'll hold it safe like this, keep all the the air out of the bottle so that it stays for longer and it lasts longer. It doesn't get so nasty and rancid from sitting out and getting the oxidation from being exposed to the air. You want a little bit of exposure to oxygen, but the more exposure to oxygen, the less time you have when you can taste the full flavor of the wine and it starts to kind of degrade. So you put this little stopper in here and this helps out. But even when you have the stopper in it, the cork, I wouldn't recommend keeping any kind of wine longer than a week inside the refrigerator. And if you don't have it in the fridge, it's about a day. It just starts to lose its flavor and it starts to really change its flavor profile. But this little cork stopper you put in here, as you see, it's got little rings, and that's how you can put it in there with a little bit of force, and that helps preserve it. And obviously, if you have the cork in there, you can force it in. That's okay as well. But remember, it's got a hole in it after you opened it. And then you've got this little foil cutter. This goes at the top of your bottle. As you see here, you just align it up to the top, you put a little force, you spin it, and these little pieces on the inside, cut it and open it up. That's really helpful. That really helps you open up the cork without struggling with it. That's the reason why we use these little cutters. Sometimes you see people with knives are trying to go through it, or they're forcing off the foil. If you have the little cutter like that, you just put it on the top, put a little bit of force, spin it, it cuts it off easily, you take it off. Then I've got an aerator. What does an aerator do? You need air inside of your wine when you first open it up. Now, you can let it breathe. You can put it inside of a vessel and let it breathe. You can let it stay open for 10, 15 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, and you'll be fine. And it'll allow a little bit of oxygen to enter into it, and that just helps acclimate it to the air, helps open up the flavors a little bit. But if you put an aerator in there, it forces air into it. That's what this little mechanism does. It pulls air in, it mixes it with the fluid as it's coming out, and it adds more air bubbles, which helps lighten the flavor, you know, loosen it up, and it really starts to get the flavor profile out there. This is a net guard. You put this here because when you're pouring, not everybody's perfect. Oftentimes I tell people when you pour, hold it above the glass and then try to turn it like this a little bit and you could wipe off the excess. Sometimes when you get really good at it, you don't have any drip at all. But if you put this here on the stem at the top, as you see, this is a guard. And what this does is it stops the wine from dripping down. So when you pour it, you're done and that'll drip down and it'll get caught here instead of falling down on the side of the bottle. So this is the kit that I gave for the giveaway. I'm going to give away a few more of these. I think it's important that you know what this is. I think it's important that's something that you learn about. I know that this isn't for everyone. It doesn't really matter for everyone. I like to be a little more formal. I like it when my guests come over to give them a little bit of wow, give them a little presentation, make them feel important, you know, family members, friends, business partners, whatever. But when you do this kind of stuff, it adds that whole formal, you know, setup, and it makes you feel good about the presentation you're giving to other people. You don't want expensive bottles of wine and whiskey and just to be kind of, you know, lie flat. You want to have a little bit of the exuberance that you're trying to share with others, especially if you're very into this and you like to share the experience in general. So that's the reason why I wanted to give out this kit and why I wanted to give you guys a little bit insights about it. I want to thank you guys very much for being part of this community. I got some more amazing giveaways coming. Stick around, like, subscribe, share this with other people especially. I'd love to see your comments. We've got so many comments now and the channel's growing so much. Keep it up, guys. Let's do this. Let's make this community huge. And I look forward to seeing you guys again in the future. Stay blessed. Thank you and take care.